Hello everybody, this is Lemonade with a custom multiplayer scenario video. This is the Roman Civil War by JW87 Rook and Darth Knox. It's centered around the great Roman Civil War between Caesar, Pompey, and the Senate that would lead to the end of the Roman Republic and the birth of the Roman Empire. There are 8 players broken into 3 teams. The first of these is Caesar and Cleopatra. The second is the Senate, Pompey, Syria, Greece, and Ptolemy XIII. The third is Parthia, who can ally with anyone they want, but ultimately win by themselves. The Senate can make a temporary alliance with Caesar, but still has to kill him in order to win. With all of this said, each player can ally anyone they want. This scenario has a lot of cool mechanics, such as buying legions, quests, events, and purchasing special units, which will be seen in action in this video. Let's get to the gameplay. Pompey and the Senate, led by Cicero, immediately evacuate the city of Rome. As the 13th Legion of Caesar is heard outside the gates. Mark Antony is a spectator to these events. As the purple and blue forces exit the city, the 13th Legion, the Twin Legion, is on their way to take Rome for their leader, Caesar. In the east, Herodotus II and his son, Phraates IV, take stock in their forces for their invasion of Syria. Caesar comes to the conclusion that he is the Senate and takes it from Purple, giving him control over the area. By taking Rome, Caesar has caused Labienus to turn against him. However, he is not able to get away, as him and his cavalry are cut down in the forest of Gaul. Blue rallies some forces in southern Italy to defend against Caesarian troops, but Caesar captures Brundisium, supplementing his own forces to cut down any sort of resistance. The Syrian legions are no match for the Parthian advance, who begin assaulting the defenses of Tarsus up in the north in the spawn shop. Yellow purchases some Numidian cavalry in preparation for the inevitable Egyptian civil war. The mountains connecting Gaul and Italy have unthawed, allowing for Caesar's 10th Legion to march their way down to Italy. A combination of blue and teal troops drive off the orange forces temporarily back into Parthia. The tensions between Ptolemy XIII and Cleopatra VII erupt into a civil war along the Nile. The Green Pharaoh's Guard is moved to counter the Numidian cavalry attacking the palisades. Julius Caesar lays waste to the northern Greek border, supplemented by his Arverni axemen, who are really tough and really strong. Pompey travels to North Africa at Cyrene and raises a legion to help aid his allies in other fronts. Red Island hops onto Sardinia and continues onward into the Mediterranean, attacking Sicily. Whoever holds these towers will be given income over time. Cleopatra has killed her brother, Ptolemy XIII, securing control over all of Egypt and especially Alexandria. This will deprive the Pompeian faction and the Senate of a capable ally. The Parthians successfully sneak around the Syrian defenses by boat, attacking his mercenary camp, which is where his special archers, the Hamming archers, spawn from. Without it, he'll be deprived of any special counter against Parthian attacks. The Caesarian offensive in northern Greece has lost steam. Outside of Alea, a few legionnaires remain, mostly just raiding and burning any buildings they can find. The battle on the land has become a chaotic mess, but in the Adriatic Sea, Bibulus recruits mighty ships to help defend the coast against any Caesarian assaults. Egyptian warships raid Cyrene. The Senate has become increasingly under pressure as Egyptian forces, now disloyal to them, are attacking. Caesar pushes into Spain with a grand army consisting of legionnaires and the Suebi raiders and the terrifying Cretan archers, who do great damage to any sort of cavalry they can find. Teal forces are continuously tested by orange attacks coming from the east. Caesar and Cleopatra enter into a military alliance, granting Cleopatra a legion of her own, consisting of Caesarian legionnaires that will surely help her in any of her assaults. Cicero raises a legion at Carthage, preparing the defenders of the Republic for battle. Parthia successfully breaks through the defenses of Tarsus, laying the city to waste. The transport ship Caesar is traveling in as he leaves Egypt is attacked by Greek vessels and is sunk off the coast of Crete, killing the would-be dictator. Battle of Cyrene is lost and Purple is defeated. Yellow burns the city to the ground. The situation for Purple just gets worse and worse as Cato Younger loses a 1v all contest with the Red Fleet Cicero soon joins him, trying to convert his ship, but is shot down by several vessels outside the coast. And with that done, there will be no returning of the Senate to Rome. With the most influential leaders of the Senate killed, Purple is defeated and hands over all remaining holdings in Africa to Blue. The Parthians have mobilized cavalry archers and Parthian camels. They will be useful for any further battles with the Romans. Teal's last base in Syria at Antioch has run into some problems, as there is some elephants outside the walls. Parthia tramples Roman Syria out of the game, leaving just Pompey and Greece to represent the Republican side and to fight against Parthia, Cleopatra, and Caesar. An Egyptian landing party skirmishes with the Iberian Peltis to Blue and Greek centurions and legionnaires outside of Lamia. Orange and Yellow battle over the town center of Antioch and the ruins of Syria, as whoever builds it would gain resources. Gray forces assemble outside of Rome, but they are reluctant to attack, considering the mighty defenses of the city, consisting of fire towers and many watchtowers. Centurions and legionnaires come out, attempting to lure the Greeks to their death inside the city. Parthia is the victor of the battle in the east against the Egyptians, securing the entire region of Syria under their grasp. The Senate would weep. The Pompeian forces were unable to hold the North African front, as thinly spread as they were. Blue attempts to retain control over Spain, which would give them another base to launch attacks onto Gaul. Outnumbered, Blue forces in Spain and Africa consolidate in a hidden-away location, seeking to wage a guerrilla war against the occupiers of the Roman cities of Cyrene and Carthage. A northern pass is opened, allowing another avenue attack, possibly into Greece and into Gaul. Never-ending war between Yellow and Orange continues, as cavalry archers have reached the outskirts of Alexandria. Elephants arrive as well, coming from Antioch, but Yellow uses monks to put up a stiff resistance. Greece is in danger. Caesar begins a great assault upon Alea, consisting of Germanic cavalry, as well as many other units that would be useful for such an endeavor. Bibulus is killed aboard his vessel doing his task. Too many Caesarian ships have arrived and overwhelmed any sort of naval resistance in the Adriatic. The Republican defenders of Alea are too weak, and the city is put to the torch by the Red forces. Yellow Numidian cavalry raid Tarsus, destroying it, depriving Orange of any income from the city. Phraates IV murders his father, Orodes II, granting him complete control of Parthia, as well as a snazzy group of bodyguards. A bunch of blue cavaliers raid Cyrene in Africa, having set up many stables in preparation for this assault. In what has to be this game's version of the Battle for Sallust, Roman forces of Greece assemble outside of Lamia, battling Roman legionnaires led by Red, coming down from Alea. Macedonian phalanxes are even brought into the battle, despite being extremely archaic at this point. The valiant Greek defenders of Lamia are slowly overwhelmed, as Caesar has sent his most mighty soldiers, the 10th and 13th Legion, to battle them. The Battle of Greece is lost, but this does not stop Gaius Triarius, leader of the Roman forces in Greece, from allying with the Parthians. Pompey joins Triarius as a refugee in Parthia, taking with him a villager and his commander, Ahenobarbus. Red forces trample through Tarsus, approaching the borders of Parthia proper. Red legions are forced to pause, running into Parthian archers, but in the south, Egypt takes Antioch. Parthia stops Egypt taking Antioch, but is nearly encircled, barely getting away from the Roman forces attacking them. Fearing for his life, Pompey hides in the Orange capital of Ctesiphon, while a great battle takes place outside the city walls. Pompey secures Cyrene, crushing a force of Cleopatra's bodyguard and Egyptian conscripts, seeking to destroy the city once again. Mark Antony is killed in battle fighting Parthia and Tarsus, depriving the Caesarian faction of a true leader, as both Caesar and Mark Antony have died. To strengthen their ally, Parthia gives Tarsus to the Roman Greek forces exiled in their lands. Recognizing the threat opposing them, Caesarian forces in Lamia withdraw, trying to avoid the Parthian onslaught, as Parthian-like cavalry attempt to run them down. Unable to fund any more defenses, Cyrene is destroyed for a second time by Egypt. The sight for sore eyes, Republican forces have returned to Lamia, controlling it once again, as well as raising a legion. Blue and orange forces work together, attacking yellow-controlled Antioch. The second battle of Alea begins. Blue cavaliers are brought in to reinforce the Greek legions outside the city. The Red Army comes crashing down like a tidal wave, attacking Nicopolis in the north of Anatolia. Parthia raises Alexandria, giving them a great bounty of gold. Parthia stands on the precipice of collapse and may have overextended too far in that attack on Alexandria. Roman forces pillage the countryside, but Orange forces arrive just in the nick of time to save it. Beaten down by the attrition, Parthian forces are attacked in Tarsus once again in what has to be the fifth battle at this point. But Red has brought in naval support this time, attacking any Parthian forces too isolated from the main archer group. Cleopatra and Caesar concoct a cunning plan, putting towers along the shallows of the river, preventing any crossing by Parthian forces. Using purchased siege rams, Red launches an attack on Ctesiphon, while Numidian cavalry breach the walls, raiding the inside of the Orange City. One last desperate push, Parthia and Pompey work together, attempting to reach Rome. Pompey just needs to capture it in order to win. Parthia, on the other hand, just needs to destroy it. Orange and blue reach Italy. Pompey attempts to avoid any sort of attack, as if he dies, red and yellow will be victorious. The luck of Pompey Magnus runs out at the Rubicon. Even with the help of Triarius and the Parthian forces, it was not enough. With his death, Yellow and Red are victorious in what has been a very long and entertaining game between all players. This was the Roman Civil War. If you want to check it out, go to Steam Workshop. I've launched a new Discord for anybody interested in this content, and if you'd like to see more of this, leave a comment and like the video. Make sure to subscribe. There's also a Patreon, because why not?